So Star Toys started it all. I'll never forget the moment seeing the AT for the first time. I was like, "Oh my gosh." And to this day, I still do the "Oh my gosh." 100% prequel. Of all time, it's gonna be Vader. I needed to add a little bit of me in there and show you stuff in my personal collection to why I bought it, why it's so important to me.
Hey guys, it's Jedi Lex, and welcome to another episode of Beyond Tatooine, where I bring on different collectors to talk about how their love of Star Wars originated, as well as take a look at and chat about their collections. And on today's episode, I have Chris from the Nerd Squadron channel. So how you doing today?
I am doing fantastic and really
Oh,
excited to be here.
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm excited to have you on. We really connected over in Japan, specifically over some laundry, which was I will never forget that. But I am so glad to finally have you on and get to chat a little bit more.
That was kind of low key awkward because you were at the end of the line and I was just like, I think that's Lex. I was like, we've talked a couple of times on Instagram, but should I say anything? And I was like, all right, let's just see what happens. And then boom. Then we
That was
had
that.
like an hour of laundry turned into like 4 hours of laundry.
Yeah, well, the stuff just wasn't. I kind of recognized you, and I saw your shirt, and I was like, I think that's Chris. But I was like, so already upset about the whole laundry situation. I was like, I just gotta thug it out and like just call it a day. Because initially, I just wanted to put my laundry in and then like dip. But there was such. I was not expecting that. So
It
note
was
to self: at
horrible.
the next celebration, I will not be doing laundry ever again. Like never. I just got to bring enough clothes and call it a day. I mean, granted, it was Japan, so I did try to like pack light and stuff, and I didn't even occur to me that that would be like a thing. But next celebration, I mean, I'm not going to stay too long in LA, but like I'm just going to bring what I need and not have to do laundry because I will not do that again. That was terrible.
You got to do at least a whole week's worth in LA. I mean, I'd imagine they're going to do Star Wars night at Disneyland. That's a
Yep.
blast. And then George Lucas's museum opens next year.
Hmm.
And celebration, we got to make it a whole week's worth.
Well, I mean, yeah, we were gonna. I can pull off and bring enough laundry for, but like the 1.5, almost 2 weeks, I was like, I don't know. Like, I had even bought extra pants and shit, and I still was like, no, I'm gonna have to do laundry. But yeah, I do want to do the Star Wars night because I know that's gonna be a thing, and I haven't gone to the Galaxy's Edge over in California, so I think that's gonna be really cool. And I do really want to hit the George Lucas Museum.
I
So
think
I'm
it'd be
gonna
a
try to
blast.
do those two things and then celebration, but I don't know that I need to spend as much time over there as I did with Japan kind of thing. So
Yeah, that laundry had to be the worst part about Japan.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was
And I did it
what
twice.
was, what was the worst part about laundry?
The fact that it didn't dry, that
Yeah.
was the worst part. And I was kind of like, I didn't even care about the line of people we had to deal with. And then it was just like hours of it drying and it's still not working. And I think I messaged you and I was like, look what I did. And I had to hang everything from my shower curtain to make
Yep.
sure it dried. That was the only way.
Yep.
It
And
was
then I
the
sent you my picture and I like kind of jerry rigged up the what was it, like the
little,
hair dryer.
little yeah, your
And I was like, this
worst
is
part.
ridiculous. But it did dry the next day and I was like, you know what? I've got clothes, we can ride. So
I just
that was
remember being really sleepy for day one
yeah.
because of that. Because I went to my room and took a nap.
Yep.
Good times.
Took a nap
That's
and then got up and got in line.
that's how you start a friendship is through laundry. Not
Yeah. I
YouTube,
mean,
laundry.
nope, that's the only way. We have a strong friendship now that I don't think is ever gonna go away because we bonded over some laundry. So, but for people who may not know you, can you tell us a little bit about your channel and where people can find you at?
Yeah. So first, yes, my name is Chris. I run Nerd Squadron on YouTube, Instagram, and a little bit on TikTok. I collect some hot toys, some high-end lightsabers, as well as review lightsabers from other companies that could range from budget friendly to something more expensive. I think lightsabers is something a lot of people are starting to get into more of now. And there's so many different options. And so I try to help others make decisions on certain lightsabers, certain deals that you can get on them. And I don't work with just one company, I work with maybe four main ones. That way I have a variety of prices to help people out and give them a little bit more information, knowledge on lightsabers to there's a lot to it. To be honest, you just think it's a lightsaber. There's a lot to it to really understand that you get the best bang for your buck.
Lightsabers are a slippery slope. I have a few. I don't have any replicas, and I do eventually want to get some. but I just am trying to like figure it out because it seems like there's so many companies out there, but some of them almost kind of do the same stuff, it seems, but they are different in their own ways. But I want one, like if I'm gonna get one, I want one that has like all the functionality to it. I get you could do like an empty hilt and just have it for looks, but like if I'm gonna get a saber and I'm gonna spend the money, I want it to, have some pizzazz,
Oh, pizzazz. I got one here. I'll show you. I already got it ready. Yeah.
Period.
So I have
Period.
that ready for you. So you'll see. We're gonna talk about
Okay.
pizzazz. We got one here.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll put a pin in that then. What would you say was kind of your introduction to Star Wars, and what really made you fall in love with the franchise?
All right. So this is a fun story, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone have the same story as me. You would normally hear, you know, the movies, the OT, Clone Wars, the original Clone Wars animated that came out, prior to what we've seen, Bad Batch, sequels. That's usually what you hear. Not mine. Star Tours. Star Tours. This was in the very, very late 90s, I believe. Late 90s. Shows my age too. But late 90s, went to Disneyland and we got on this ride, Star Tours. And I was like, what is this? This is awesome. And I remember seeing Darth Vader and I remember going to the Death Star and blowing up the Death Star. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I saw C3PO. I saw R2D2. I was like, oh, this is so cool. What is this? Didn't know what it was. Couldn't figure it out. And I grew up with six brothers and four girls in my family and no one's the nerdy one. So no one told me anything. No one said, "Oh, this is what." No one told me. And it wasn't until 1999. 1999? Yeah. Right? Phantom Menace when it came out? Yeah. Saw it in theaters, and then for some reason something clicked. I was like, oh, "This is the same universe. It's the same thing. What is this?" I still don't know what it is. Found out it was called Star Wars. And then my cousin, he's like, "Yeah, it's Star Wars. I have all the other original movies." And I'm just kind of like, "There's more movies?" And then it was the OT. Then I saw the OT. Then turned to Attack of the Clones in theaters. Then I saw Revenge of the Sith. And then just snowballed. And then you have this. So Star Tours started it all.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a new one. I haven't heard that one before.
And it's cool because like when I go to Disneyland, I'm like, let's ride Star Tours. Let's go back memory lane when I was a kid. And then I
Yep.
remember at that moment, oh, I get really sick on this ride. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it for good old times. But then I regret it about halfway through.
Yeah, and it seems like they're trying to revamp Star Tours like periodically, like they do different, animations and things like that. Like I think they're trying to do like Mando and Ahsoka. I don't know if that's already like
Oh
hit.
no, no, yeah, they did that in Anaheim 2 years ago. And
Oh,
I remember I went. It was a Star Wars night. We all went, and everyone's let's do Star Tours. They have the Purgle, like they have all that, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. I don't want to write it, but let's go check it out. Let's see what we. And then it was so cool. It's like you see a hologram, and I think we got Mando in ours. Pretty sure we
oh,
got
nice.
Mando in ours, and I was like, that's so cool. Can we get off now? And it wasn't over yet. And then someone said, hey, let's go on again because we might get Ahsoka, we might get Cassian Andor, and I was like,
Hmm. Yeah,
I'll
one
watch.
time's enough.
I experienced Mando. I'll watch the rest on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I did.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it does it change based off like who kind of appears, or I feel like it shouldn't
It's all the
change that
same.
much.
It's all the same because once you get to the scene with the Purgle, you're flying
Yeah,
through the Purgle, and I believe you're being chased by Shin and Marok in that scene, and then you see the Ahsoka's T6 fly by. So you deal
gotcha.
with all that, but it's still Mando.
Okay.
Yeah. I am
Yeah,
stoked for Smuggler's Run. They're changing Smuggler's Run though.
I did hear that. I
Yeah,
did
I'm
hear
I'm, I'm
that.
I'm hyped
That
for that.
yeah, that I hate to say it, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that ride. But maybe it's because we waited like hours, like 4 or 5 hours to get on the ride, and then we just like sat there and we were like, okay, we gotta press some buttons. And I was like, I don't know, it was kind of underwhelming. And I was like, I can't believe I just waited 5 hours for this. Like,
It's only fun if you're the pilot.
yeah, we were not.
If you're in the back pressing buttons, it's not fun. Or the fact that I'm on that ride and I feel like I want to throw up the entire time, and I'm piloting, and you can't see it on my face, but on my back, I'm just sweating and sweating. And in my mind, I'm like, I can't wait to get off of this thing because I need to leave. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little underwhelming, but it's still a really cool experience. I just want to see what they do with Mando for this one.
Yeah, I'm sure the updated version will be cool. I mean, I like the premises of it. You're kind of like with Hondo and, all that good stuff. And I get the idea of it. But I feel like if you're not the pilot, you're kind of just like sitting there like, okay, fire, fire, fire. Like you just keep hitting the button and that's really it. And you watch the animation and hope that everyone else is pressing the buttons at the same time. But the other ride is like amazing, but I forget
Oh,
the name.
Rise of the Resistance. I love
Yes.
that ride.
That is
That is
one of my favorite.
I mean, I will say when it gets to the part where it becomes kind of like Star Tours, and you do that, I'm sitting there like, "Ugh, all right, but it's shorter. It's a much shorter version. You get to experience the entire ride, but I love that ride. I'm always gonna argue this. So at Disney, I don't know if they do that in Florida, but at Disneyland, every October, November, December, they change the Haunted Mansion to Nightmare Before Christmas theme.
Oh,
I say November or October, November, December, change the Rise of Resistance and go back to the OT. So instead of Kylo, it'd be Vader. A couple times a year, switch it up because we also have Hyperspace Mountain at Disney,
oh,
where they change Space Mountain into a Star Wars theme as well.
that could be really cool.
It's awesome. It's a great experience. I'd be so cool just to go back in time a little bit. You do a Vader or a Maul. I don't know. I just think
I
it'd be
mean, they could do so much with it, but like I don't know. I just love the premises of it. Like you get to like go through you're in the shuttle, it like does its little thing, you get off, you're like in the hangar bay with all the stormtroopers and stuff. Then you go through and then you have like the cast members that are trying to be like, well, don't mess around, like, blah blah blah. And like, they get into it and it's like such an experience, and you go through and they're like maneuvering you and then you look up and there's like the AT-ATs,
I'll
like
never forget the moment seeing the AT for the first time. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And to this day, I still do the oh my gosh.
no, literally, I like look up and I'm like, like the first time I went through that ride, and we'll ride it every time. Doesn't matter how long the wait is. Like we always make it a point to just go and ride it. But the first time I looked up and I was like, this is insane. Like AT8, like life size AT-ATs are above me. Like insane.
I wish I would have like vlogged the first time I wrote it just to get the reaction on my face. Like that's one thing I love watching people's reaction on that ride, especially if it's their first time. You just, they kind of sit there, think it's a ride, just experience it, see whatever. And then they see it, they're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? I'm like, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites by far.
Still my favorite ride at Disneyland. I will skip every other ride just to ride Rise of Resistance.
Yeah, yeah. Me too. I feel like it's just inevitable. But I guess then, if really the first movie that you kind of remember and kind of associated to Star Wars was The Phantom Menace, are you a prequels guy? You're an OT guy? Where do you kind of fall, and what's your favorite movie?
100% prequel.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I still appreciate the OT. I still watch the OT. But man, when you think of like the choreography for the fights, I'm like, oh, nothing beats it. The music for the prequels was beautifully done. I mean, so was the OT. But when you think of just Star Wars, and if you think about the music that was put in the prequels, you still hear it now, and it still hits the exact same way. Okay, yes, like the dialogue could be a little better, but I'm like, whatever, that's fine. I can get over it. Like, did you see Maul? Did you see his earring? Did you see that? Did you see the flip? Like, no, you can't beat that. No, can't beat
No, yeah, I get the dialogue is definitely a huge gripe of people's, but like, I mean, sure, some of it's cheesy, especially like in Attack of the Clones, but like, if you just look past that, like the movie's phenomenal, and like I don't even really mind the cheesy dialogue. Like it is what it is. I think it makes it part of the movie. Like I don't think Star Wars would be Star Wars without some cheesy dialogue sometimes, like it's just a part of the experience, but nothing beats the prequels for me. I love the OT, and I feel like getting to like kind of really see them in the theaters now that they've been bringing them back for the bigger anniversaries and stuff has been really cool, but
I think
I
that's
will
so much fun.
always I will always pick the prequels. Like that is just my bread and butter.
I think it would be amazing for Celebration 2 years from now. They always release the movies at certain anniversaries. Could you imagine doing George Lucas's museum, Star Wars night, a whole group of us watching A New Hope together at the same time and attending Celebration? I mean, listen, I'm here for it.
I would hope that they release it because I mean they do it around May time, so I feel like it'll kind of be right in that ballpark, so hopefully it'll still be in theaters, but that could be really cool. Like we just like pack the theater with like all the different creators and stuff and we just go watch A New Hope. Like
It's
that would
legit
be
a whole
insane.
week's worth of Star Wars. Like, there's no doubt about it. It's a whole week worth of Star Wars, and I'm here for it.
No, I don't think there's any better way to kind of spend your celebration. Like that would just be absolutely perfect.
It's
Like
by the time celebration's over, it's like I'm exhausted.
too much
We
Star
did
Wars.
everything. We did everything, and it was worth it.
Yeah, it would. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that it's not going to be so difficult to get tickets for it. Like, I'm hoping I'll be able to get tickets, but I am kind of nervous with it now coming back into the States after a few years. And everyone's like, oh, like now that it's in the US, like we're going to have to go. So I just know getting tickets is going to be a thing.
I remember buying my Japan tickets, and it was me and 6 or 7 other people at a table because we actually happened to be in Anaheim for Star Wars night. And it was, and actually, you know what? This was the day of Star Wars night. And I believe it opened at 6. And we were sitting there in the afternoon, all on our phones, waiting, 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 waiting. And all of us trying to get it, trying to get it, trying to get it. Tony's live getting his. We're all just trying to get it. Luckily, we all got it. But you're 100% right. The fact that it's back here, everyone's going to try and get it. So I'm going to bring an iPad, use my phone, bring my laptop. I'm bringing everything to make sure I get my tickets.
Yeah, I remember I was actually at a wedding and we were sitting down having dinner and I'm like I have my phone and I'm like in my lap and I'm just like watching the little person like walk as it's like, getting ready to cue you and luckily like well, I think that the VIP was already sold out. Like I think that sold out like instantaneously and then the weekend pass itself sold out, but I was able to get like the individual days that
That's
wasn't
what
sold
happened to me.
out, which
Yeah,
I kind of didn't mind because then you got the three different passes like for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I was kind of like okay with it and the price difference wasn't that much as if you like bought them all together for the weekend.
exactly.
But yeah, I was at a wedding. I had it on my lap, just waiting and waiting and waiting because I had kind of forgot. I had it on my calendar, but I knew the wedding was that night. And we were like all having a good time. We were at the reception, blah blah. Like we started getting a few drinks in us, and then I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I looked down and I was like, "I gotta get in line." And then I was just waiting for the queue to go, and then it opened, and I got my tickets. But like I know that I'm not going to be able to pull that stunt like with
Imagine if
LA.
it was during the ceremony and you're sitting, dearly beloved, you're sitting there.
I do. Like yeah, no. I mean, luckily it wasn't during the ceremony. It was during dinner, and I could kind of like keep it hide it under the table. But I was stressing. But I know like for LA, I'm gonna have to like designate and be off and like have a time to like actually be able to sit down and like lock in so I can get tickets.
Imagine if they say if there's anyone here object to the please say, and you sit there and you got your tickets, you go yes. They look at you like no, 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 no. That's not that.
I'm
No, that's not
so
what I'm talking about.
sorry. Yeah. Nope. I love you guys. You're a great couple, but I just got tickets. And they're gonna be like, "You're never coming to another wedding or family
You
event ever again."
you're uninvited. You are
Yeah.
uninvited forever.
Actually, can you leave, please? Like, yeah, wouldn't be surprised, but it is what it is. Okay, so we got kind of favorite movie. What would be your favorite character?
All right, that's a two-part question for me because of all time, it's going to be Vader, right? Someone could argue Anakin as well because it's the same person. But if we're going to talk about non-Force user, it's Boba Fett.
Really?
Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett. I mean, may not like the book of Boba Fett, but I only like the just because Tamora Morrison came back as Boba Fett, and I was just like, to me, that was worth watching to see him come back.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, Book of Boba Fett by no means was my favorite, and there's some parts I'm like, if they would have just cut this out, like it probably would have been better. But getting to see him come back as Boba Fett, like, how could you not? Like, he's Boba Fett. Like, I hope they bring him back with future projects and stuff. And I was kind of hoping they were going to do another season, but I'm wondering if they're going to kind of like incorporate him into like the Mando and Grogu movie and kind of like
I hope
tie
they
up some
incorporate
things.
him into Ahsoka because
Yeah.
he really wants to play Rex, and I would love to see Rex with a white
Yeah.
beard. Even if it's I don't even want a flashback. I want a bearded Rex.
Old
And
man
Rex,
Rex.
yeah, and the Rex is my favorite clone too. So see, I'm being biased now at this point, but
Yeah.
it's just like it's just it'd be so cool to see him as Rex.
I mean, they like talked about it, and I have seen the rumors and like his statements and stuff. Like, yeah, I want to come back and blah blah blah. And like, I mean, we did get to see Rex in the flashback, but like, he had his
Just
helmet
the
on,
voice.
so
It was just the
it
voice.
could.
That was it.
Yeah, I was like, but like to see him actually take his helmet off, because like I feel like throughout the Clone Wars, like the majority of the time, he doesn't have his helmet on. Like, I mean, unless they're like in battle and doing stuff, but like a lot of the dialogue and stuff, he's got his helmet off. So to
Exactly.
see Tim Morrison,
And this thing, he's bald now,
he sure is.
and then old Rex is bald as well. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's a possibility. It's a big possibility.
I mean, I think they're gonna try to do a lot with Ahsoka season two. At least I'm hoping, especially with like the Mortis arc and kind of filling that out. But I think there's so much they can do, and I think probably one of the easiest things on the list would be to have Tim Morrison come back as Rex. Like,
Yeah. And I'd imagine, I mean, you were at the panel at Celebration. They
mhm.
said the majority of Ahsoka, either it's the majority or the beginning, is all one big battle. Something like that. Can't remember what
Yeah.
it was. But I'm like, oh, big battle, huh? So who's in it? Who's in this big battle that we're talking about? That's what I want to know.
Well, I know they mentioned that like, oh my god, what is that dude? The one that's like it's a trap. Oh my god, why can't I think of his name?
Oh my Jesus.
The him and Thrawn were pretty much gonna go at it, and like
Yes.
that was gonna be a
I,
big
s-
thing.
I
Oh my
see I
god,
see him. I see him right now. Admiral Akbar.
Akbar, yes.
There we
Filoni
go.
was like Akbar is gonna be, and it's not just gonna be like a cameo. Like him and Thrawn are gonna go head to head in like a big space battle. I was like, okay, like that's cool, but
I don't
like
know why that gave me goosebumps thinking about what we could see.
like I just feel like there's so much they can do. And then I've heard the rumors about like Abeloth and like all that kind of cool stuff. So I don't know. Ahsoka is definitely one of my favorite characters. I mean, her and Anakin are like, depending on the day, it's such like a, like who's got
Depends on how
first.
you
I can't
feel. Depends how you
Yeah,
feel.
I can't put one over the other, but like they're my two favorite characters, like hands down. So the Ahsoka series is definitely a big one for me. And I see you got the Ahsoka shirt on too.
Yeah, I got this like right after I came back from London because I didn't snag the shirt. So they had a similar shirt like this in London for
Mhm.
Celebration, and I didn't grab it for some dumb reason. And then I happened to go to Disneyland that year, and I saw it. I was like, "Oh, I'm buying it." As I'm not making this mistake twice, so I bought it.
Nice. So would that is Ahsoka one of your favorite shows then?
Mm.
Maybe, maybe not. But I guess then what is your favorite show? If you have
Oh, that's
one.
that's tough because I just rewatched Ahsoka, just rewatched it. Love Mando season 1, season 2, season 3 was yeah. I'm gonna say Mando, but only because it's season 2, but it's a big tie because I thoroughly enjoyed Obi-Wan. And the only reason is all the Obi-Wan parts with Anakin and Obi-Wan and Vader. And it just completes the prequels for me. It completes that transition from Revenge of the Sith to the OT, right? It's that moment to especially when he calls him Darth. I was just like, oh, because that's what he calls him in the OT. I was like, that's crazy. So seeing Hayden come back, seeing that broken mask, and thinking of in Rebels when you see Ahsoka hit the right side, and then Obi-Wan essentially cuts the other side, and I'm like, oh, it just I loved it. So that's the only reason Obi-Wan is so tied with Mando for me because it just completes that transition for me because I am a prequels person.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, overall, I think they're like Obi-Wan, it's not my favorite show, but it is such a strong show, and I don't think people give it enough credit for what it
I
is.
agree.
Like, sure, they probably could have CGI'd Anakin a little bit better and done some face tuning and stuff, because like he definitely kind of has some age in that compared to where we see him. But like the stuff that you get, and I think especially the ending where you do have that battle between him and Obi, like I'm such a big Twilight of the Apprentice fan. Like that is probably one of my favorite battles between him and Ahsoka. And
So
Ahsoka like
good.
really figures out like, hey, that's my master, like, or that was my master, and like cuts the mask. And then you almost kind of see the same thing happen with Obi and Darth Vader, and then he cuts the other side. Like it's just such a symbolic like fight, it's almost one of my favorites now. Like I probably would put it top 5.
I just
Like
got
just
chills
because
again.
of the no, I literally have goosebumps, especially like with the resemblance it has to Twilight of the Apprentice. Like those were two of Anakin's like closest like people, like his master and his Padawan, and then they both kind of experience, seeing Anakin under the mask of Darth Vader, but in their own way, but very similar. And then especially when they had like the lights where like Anakin's talking and it's blue, and then
Yeah,
Vader's
and it turns
talking and it's
red.
red. And
Oh,
I was like, "Ah, this is like cinematic. Like it is poetic. Like there's nothing better about it." And I think that probably is what kind of places the Obi-Wan series like so high for me.
yeah, and there was a lot of dialogue in that show that really hits, and even now, like, did you ever watch the oh god, I can't remember his name now, but he takes the shows, and he turns them into movies.
The
So, basically
YouTuber?
oh, I have it on a flash drive. So, he did it for, Boba Fett, he made it into 2 movies, condensed everything into 2 movies, and he switched the order around, so it makes more sense. He did, Ahsoka as well. I gotta send it to you, especially when you see that the Twilight of the Apprentice part. He changed the whole background, so it's just like it was in Rebels. It's amazing, and so he does it. It's so good. I'll send it to you. Can't remember Kai Patterson. That's his name. Kai Patterson. It's called uh, yeah. So it's the Ahsoka Kai Patterson, Obi-Wan Kai Patterson. So basically, he took away all the nonsense. It's like, I'll take all that out. You don't need it, and it flows beautifully. And so you're able to watch 8 episodes in 2 hours because he condenses it all and it makes more sense. He changed some of the music. But I remember rewatching Obi-Wan on the plane to Japan. And I remember sitting there. I shed a tear, and I still do when Obi-Wan says, he goes, Anakin, I'm sorry for all of it. And I was like, bro. And you could see Ewan, like the tears in his eyes. And I was just like, oh, you can't. Yes, there are some things about the show that was lacking. But when you put in the story of Vader, the story of Obi-Wan together. You see he sees Anakin for the first time. He sees his eyes, and he's so heartbroken over it that he failed him. I was like, oh, come on. Like you can't say it was that bad, especially with that dialogue. Come on. So it's there. It's very tied between that and Mando.
Gotcha. Yeah, Mando season 1 and 2 are definitely top tier. Like, especially because I really feel like Mando brought a lot of people back to Star Wars. I think it holds such a special place in a lot of people's hearts. Season 3 was kind of like, meh, but like season 1 and 2, a lot of people are like, that is peak Star Wars,
100%.
and I
Disney. I
agree.
would say peak Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah, that's a better to notion. But yeah, I mean, it brought a lot of people back. Like they were like, yeah, like, I didn't really have Star Wars for a while, we got this, and like that's why I got back into collecting, that's why I started a channel. Like, it really brought a lot of people back. But I think Obi, a lot of people had gripes with like Riva and that whole story and blah blah
Mhm.
blah, and like I get it, did it need it? No. Like, can you take it away? I mean, I guess if you decided to go through and like cut it out yourself, but it's there, essentially it is Disney Star Wars, but like I don't know, like you get to see Darth Vader in like peak brutality. Like he just is dragging people through the streets. Like
Right?
it
Cracking
was
necks. He's in a
dude,
back of the tank just sitting there. And did you see the behind the scenes for that? They Hayden actually had to go to a dive coach so he can learn how to
no.
hold it. He had to learn to hold his breath in that tank the entire time they filmed that shot. He stood there holding his breath.
Wow. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, it's
That's interesting.
on I believe it's on Disney Plus. It's awesome.
Interesting.
It's
Okay.
great. So I after seeing that and seeing what Hayden did with Vader for that, I was like, "Oh, I have so much more respect for you." I trust me, I had respect for you from the very beginning. But
Hmm.
now, oh, I just want to dab him up every time I watch it.
Yeah.
I
And
look at
then
a
even
picture of me
just
and him.
seeing and then even just seeing him like barely even try, and he's essentially just pulling a ship down. Like that whole
Oh, that
scene
was
was
great.
absolutely insane. Like he's not even really trying. He's just like like I was like, this is insane. Like you're seeing peak Vader.
Yep.
But then just to see the chemistry between him and Ewan, like even all of these years later, like it was just so magical. Like I do really enjoy the Obi-Wan series, and I feel like I probably need to rewatch it, but really that ending fight like just holds such a special place for me. But
Just
I know. Yeah.
Just watch the Kai Patterson cut. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I'll send
Okay.
you the
I'll
link, and
check it
then
out.
it's way more enjoyable because it takes away all the other stuff. And it's crazy how he's able to like blend everything so well. So it's like I think episode 1 or 2, I don't remember now, when we see Vader for the first time in the tank, and then that was the end of the episode. So
Mhm.
he blended that one with the next episode. So as soon as you see him in the tank, the next shot is the bacta tank is draining, and then all the droids come in, puts the armor on him, and then you see him walking up to his throne.
Interesting.
It's beautiful,
Yeah.
beautifully done.
I'd be interested to see that and then the Ahsoka because I think the Ahsoka series, and I might just be biased because I love Ahsoka, but like getting to see Ahsoka kind of have her own. Not even that I really think it's the Ahsoka show because I feel like it really heavily focused on Sabine too.
I
But
thought the
like,
same thing.
but like it's Ahsoka in live action, and yeah, we had seen her in like Mando and whatever, but like really getting to see such a prominent amount of Ahsoka on like in live action on the screen was like really top tier for me. And then getting to see her as Ahsoka the Grey and then make that transition back to Ahsoka the White, like just top tier for me. And again, probably biased because I'm just such a big Ahsoka fan, but like
But also,
it's
cannot
good.
I can't think of anybody else I would rather play Ahsoka than Rosario Dawson.
No, me neither.
I've thought about that before when they first announced her, and I was like, damn, she looks so good, especially with that mock up somebody made of her. And I was just like, really, that's who you go with? And I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, you can't, no, you can't deny that's who needs to play Ahsoka. And then I started going through like different actresses. I'm like, no, there is nobody else. Like you, no,
I haven't even really thought about who else could play her because I just love Rosario Dawson, like as Ahsoka. Like I think she does such a phenomenal job, and like I get it. A lot of people are like, "Well, she's not my Ahsoka," like Ashley Eckstein is, and I was like, "But they play different versions of Ahsoka. One is animation, and you can't discount anything that Ashley Eckstein's done because she really has brought such a name to Ahsoka's character. And like, I love the animated series. That's what made me fall in love with the Ahsoka character was growing up with her. And Ashley Eckstein played her. Like, you can't discount her, but I also feel like you can't discount Rosario Dawson and what she's doing in live action. Like, I think they both play phenomenal Ahsokas. But some people are like, nah, like, it should have just been Ashley. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't think she would have carried over into live action.
I
Like, I
mean,
think Rosario Dawson does it.
unless they would in Rosario Dawson, they had Ashley dub her voice, which I would have hated that idea. I mean, it works for Maul when they did it in Solo, but I'm like, no, you can't do that. It works well. And I think the one thing about Star Wars, especially when you think of different eras of Star Wars, except for sequels, no, there is one person in sequels who loves their character, right? So it's like Hayden loves to be Anakin, Obi-Wan loves to be Obi-Wan, or Obi-Wan, Ewan loves to be Obi-Wan. Then you think of like the OT, and you think of Mark Hamill loved to be Luke Skywalker, and then Rosario loves to be Ahsoka. Ashley loves to voice Ahsoka. And so these actors have this connection to them to where it makes the character even better because they are literally putting their all into this character because they love this character. And then you have Anthony Daniels, who's C3PO in every single movie, and he's down to do it. And it's just like when you love this character and you put all this energy and all this into this character, I promise you're gonna have a good show. Okay, the show may not be good, but you can see the effort they put in this character. It's like, hey man, the show wasn't great, but damn, he killed it as a role. She killed it as his role. Like Tamora Morrison loves to be Boba Fett. The show may not have been perfect, but he went in there loving that character. And I think that makes or breaks the show. If you have a character who doesn't if they don't love being in the character, it's gonna break the show.
Well, and that's I think why a lot of people struggle with the sequels is because like it was hard for the actors to get behind those characters not knowing what was next. Like I feel like if they would have laid out the story ahead of time and was like this is where, let's say Rey is going to start and this is where she's going to finish. But instead, at the end of each movie, they were like, I don't really know where Rey's character is going. They didn't know where Finn's character was going. Like, it was so up in the air. And I think that made it hard for the actors to get behind. Whereas you look at Anakin, like Hayden knew like this is where Anakin's story is going to start and this is where it's going to finish and this is what's going to happen between those 2 points. Like he had a vision and he sticks behind it, and I will never forget at MegaCon last year they did their little like Jedi double feature like panel or whatever, and Hayden was like, any opportunity that I get to put the robes back on, I'm going to take it. And that forever will give me goosebumps. I always think about that. Like, Hayden just loves playing Anakin and Darth Vader. And if you give him the opportunities, which we should, like, I think we got to take advantage of, his age. Like, he's not getting any younger. He's not peak, Hayden anymore. Like, we saw him in the prequels. Like, just give him the opportunity. He wants to do it, and we need to let him. And I'm glad that he's coming back for Ahsoka season 2 and hopefully some future projects. But same thing with Ewan. But I think the sequels would have been so much better if the actors had that direction that they had, like that every other character in Star Wars has. But
I 100% agree. And yeah, Hayden's not getting any younger. He's getting older, but damn, he can still swing that saber like he did when he was in his 20s. When he does the Obi and Anakin, I was like, yo, he pulled it off in this show. It's been how many years since he's been Anakin, and he threw that in there. I was
dude,
like, he can still
he
he can
throws
still fight.
down.
I was just like, wow. I was like, again, I just want to dab him up every time I see him. I'm like, dude, I struggle getting out of bed sometimes. I'm like, I'm like, oh, my back, oh, my knee. And then I see him swinging a saber like he just did it like for the past 15, 17 years. And I'm like, you still can do it so well. It's insane.
I feel like it's one of those muscle memory things. Like, once you've got it, like, it's kind of like riding a bike. Like, you just got to get back on it, and then you just, harness your skill and kind of tweak it a little bit. But he will forever probably be one of the best, like, lightsaber swingers out there. Like, his skill, I feel like, is unmatched.
I mean,
But
think about it. His little Obi Annie that he does behind the back, that's not even a move. He made up that move, and they're like, do that
he
again.
like,
And then he did it, and then he did it. You're like, yeah, we're gonna add that to the choreography.
yeah, he's so skilled. Like, I just love him. Like, as an actor, the character, everything about him, love it.
And he's
But
so humble. A lot of these
oh,
actors are so humble. And I noticed the ones who are the most humble are the ones who love their character. Not saying none of them are, but you can see their interaction. I met okay, yeah, we can talk about shows that weren't amazing. Acolyte.
hmm
I met Manny Jacinto at a celebration. Oh, he
hmm
was so thankful to everyone who was there. He loved the character. He talked to people about his training and what he went through and how much fun he had doing it. He loved the character and had so much fun with it. And so when you see that coming, like that aura coming from them, you're like, man, I love you even more. And I'm trying not to say that out loud.
I mean, he could be your twin, like, your Star Wars twin, essentially. You guys could be brothers.
He's Filipino. I'm half Filipino. So that was the cool thing. So I was just like, when I first found out, I was like, yes, we got a Filipino in Star Wars. Let's go. We did it. We did it, guys. I was
We
happy.
made it. No, but I mean, yeah, so granted, Acolyte wasn't the best, and it by no means was the majority of the Star Wars fan base's favorite show. But I think a lot of us can agree that the Stranger Manny's character was probably one of the best things to come out of that show, like,
As
hands
well as
down.
the choreography. I think that
Yeah.
had to be some of Disney's best choreography that we've gotten, especially when it comes to lightsabers. I mean, big props to whoever played Vader and Obi-Wan. He did all those moves in the suit. Props to Ewan for coming back and doing it again. When you think of that, compare that to Acolyte, the amount of work that these people went through to get this choreography like on point. I think Acolyte was peak choreography for Disney.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, that whole,
Especially
like,
the three punch to Jackie. Oh,
yeah, that was brutal. I was not expecting that. I was like,
everybody
what?
was. Everyone. Oh, it was peak. I love that guy. He's great. Manny Jacinto. If anyone has the opportunity to meet him, I say meet him. Meet him.
Yeah, he's on my list. I would like to meet him, but it seems like he's starting to kind of pop out at more cons and stuff. And I think he was at MegaCon, but I just was like, I gotta save for Japan. I gotta be good, blah blah. And he was at Japan, so. But I just waited in such long lines. I feel like for Hayden, and then not to even get his auto was
Yeah,
crazy.
you had yourself an experience. I felt so bad. I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
I mean, listen, I got Rosario's and I got to do the photo with them. Hayden, luckily enough, does a lot more cons and stuff like that. So I was like, I can't really get that upset. Like, at some point, I got my money back. I'll be able to go do it again. It just sucks because it would have been so cool to have done it in Japan, like on his birthday. But, I can't get so upset. There were some people in the lines I was like, this ruined my entire celebration. Like it, like this was such a waste. I would have never come to Japan. Like I would have never done this. And I was like, I can't say the same. Like I got to go to Japan for the first time. I got to go see Japan. I got to go to Kyoto, Osaka. I got to do a lot of this with the people that I've been collaborating with for the past few years. Like my experience, like granted, it wasn't like I would have loved to have gotten Hayden's auto, but did it ruin my entire celebration and my trip and make it not worth it? Not by any means. Like I would never trade my experience in Japan just because I didn't get Hayden's auto. But some
Yeah,
people definitely were very
if,
upset about
yeah,
it, and I get it.
if I would have heard someone like, "Oh, this ruined my trip. I came all the way to Japan for this. Like this ruined my whole Japan trip," I'd be like, "That ruined your Japan. Try doing laundry in Japan and let me and let me
Like
know
that didn't even ruin it, you know?
like
Like
try that."
yeah, yeah, there was a lady in front of me and she was just going on and on and on about it because it got brought up. The guy that I was talking to that was in front of me while we were waiting for the dual photo op, like we were just been talking, we were like, yeah, our autographs get canceled, blah blah. And this lady turns around and starts just ripping us a new one about how Japan was a complete waste, like she would have never flown out here, like blah blah. And I was like, each to their own, but it didn't ruin my trip. Like I would still do it again in a heartbeat. Like I would fly out again, even if I knew that my Hayden auto was gonna get canceled, like I still would have done it. Like
I'm dying
it
to
is.
go back to Japan anyways. Either
Oh my
way.
god. I keep saying that. As soon as I got home, I was like, I gotta figure out when I'm going back. Like there was so much that I got to do, but there was so much that I didn't get to do. Like
Same.
Japan is just such a cool place. And there's so many like I got to do like a lot of the stuff in the major cities, but like I would have loved to have gone to like Kobe or Okinawa. Like there's just so much I wanted to do. So I definitely want to go back. Do I need to go back in like peak season, like cherry blossom season again? It would be
Uh,
cool, but I don't know that the price like justifies it. Like I've seen it, I've done it. I would probably want to go at a cheaper time where my plane ticket isn't so expensive, but
you had a long travel time. A lot of you had a really, really long time. I'll say this. Since coming back from Japan, there are two things I refuse to do. One, step foot inside of a 7-Eleven. Refuse to do it.
yeah.
Two, I refuse to eat at my favorite ramen spot here because it's going to ruin it for sure. Because
Dang.
I had ramen 9 times when I was out there. My favorite is Osaka. Best one I ever had. And I refuse to go to the ramen restaurant that I go to the most here because it's going to ruin it for me. And I'm going to be like, it's
Interesting.
not as good.
I
Refuse.
mean, maybe it's not so bad because I haven't like found a good, well, I haven't found like my favorite ramen place here, but I definitely have increased my consumption of like ramen and Japanese food since getting home. Like, I just like look up, I'm like, man, I really want some ramen, or like, I really want, something along the lines of like what I had while I was out there. And like, I'll go and try some new places, but maybe it's because I haven't found my favorite one yet, but I don't know. I definitely have increased my consumption of Japanese food since coming home.
Now I really want to go back. I bought a knife when I was out there because I cook a lot when I'm here at home. And I used it for the first time the other day. And I was like, oh, that's my little piece of Japan. My blade actually says made in Japan. I was like,
Oh, I
I was
really
like,
wanted to get one, but I just didn't find any like knife shops. I mean, they had like the Don Quixotes, but I was like,
yeah.
how like
No,
valid are these
there was
knives?
a spot in Osaka. I was going to their anime district, and it's one huge like corridor, and it was all cooking stuff.
Oh,
And I was like, I'll come back here after we leave the anime. And I thought about it. I was like, there's no way I'm doing that because that was one thing about Japan I realized was I was like, I'll just come back here. I never went back because either A, you forgot or you saw something else that distracted you and you never went back. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy it now. It's like 150 bucks for a
yeah,
knife, but it's so worth
like
it.
a
It was,
nice knife.
oh, it's a nice knife, super sharp. I was like filleting fish with it. It was just like one swipe. I went, took the skin off. I was like, wow, worth it.
Yeah,
Best little thing I bought from Japan.
yeah. That's the one thing I kind of regret not getting is like a knife because I do cook a lot. Because I try to like prep. If I'm going to be working like a few consecutive days, I try to cook. So I do cook a lot. I feel like, and I wish I would have gotten a knife. That's like the one souvenir I really wish I would have like gone. But for next time, I'm going to go back to Japan.
There's
It's
going to be
gonna
a next
happen.
time. That's
Yeah,
the funny
so
part.
that's
It
the
was
thing.
going to be a next time.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. They're like, well, where are you gonna go next? And I was like, there's so many places I want to go, but like, I want to go back to Japan.
So I want to go to Hiroshima.
Yeah,
I want to go to some of these iconic places. Just I've heard of places to go, and I was like, oh, I should have gone there. Kyoto, I did for one day. It was a 1 day
Me
trip,
too.
and
Yeah,
so I'm like,
I
that
want
was
to
wonderful.
expand Kyoto. Like, I
Yeah,
wish
but
I did more than 1 day.
you saw Fuji up close. Like when I saw your vlog on that, first of all, I watched all your Japan vlogs, and as much as I enjoyed them, I got a little sad because I was like, oh, I should have done that. Oh, she did that. I was so jealous. And then I saw Fuji on the Shinkansen. That's it,
Yeah, which is so cool.
which was amazing because I fell asleep.
Yeah,
I fell asleep and I looked at the map how far we were. I was like, it looks like 20 minutes, and I set my alarm for like 20 minutes, and I fell asleep. And then I woke up 15 minutes in. I went like this, and I turned over, and I just see Fuji. I was like, no way! Immediately recorded it, and it was an amazing experience seeing Fuji in person.
yeah, I got to see it the first time. I like booked the right seats, but as I was going from Tokyo to Kyoto, it was like nighttime. So even though I booked the
Oh,
seats
then you
to
wouldn't.
see
Yeah, yeah.
it, I didn't put two and two together that like I'm probably not going to see it because it's nighttime. But then on the way back from Osaka back to Tokyo, I got to see it again and I was like, oh, that was so cool. But yeah, getting to go around and like doing that. I mean, getting to see Mount Fuji, I feel like can be so hit or miss. And from what I was reading, they were like, if you go and do one of these day tours and the visibility is like bad and this and that, like it's just not worth it. So I really kind of took a gamble, but I had such great visibility that day. Like it was so nice. So I don't regret that like at all, but I do recommend it. But it is, from what I was reading, can be such a gamble. Like, doing one of those day tours and then not having visibility was like, so it
Yeah,
was a
the
gamble.
first half of my trip, I was in Osaka, and it rained a few times. It's like, no, we're not gonna see it. And I kept checking the my phone, checked the weather. It said cloudy. I was like, oh no, and we're gonna miss it. And then the one thing I'll tell anyone who goes to Japan: be prepared to be in awe of a lot that you see. You'll see an alleyway, like, wow, that looks so cool. Like you can never get that back home. Then you see Fuji, like my mountains suck.
We don't even
Like
have mountains in Florida.
you see,
So
like we have them here in Vegas, but I'm like, this is just dirt. That's it. And then you see Fuji,
yeah.
like, wow, Japan was full of that. I love it. I miss it and I love it. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, I feel the same. But I guess on the same note, that was probably one of the bigger conventions that we both went to this year. What are your plans for the rest of the year convention wise?
Oh, I got one more. One more, and this is the one I've been so excited for. And that's Rebel Scum Con.
Heck yeah.
I'm so excited. They have an amazing list of guests that are going to be there. I mean, it's in Dallas. It's halfway for you. It's halfway for me. I think that's great
Yep.
because we all get to meet in the middle. So I'm okay with that. There are some creators who are located in Texas. Lucky because you don't have to travel so far.
Yeah.
But not here's the thing that I love about cons is yes, you're surrounded by Star Wars. You're surrounded by these different guests that you get to see, like, oh, she was in this movie or he was in this movie. Oh, that's so cool. And then you run into the creators that and that makes the entire con worth it. It's like summer camp.
A
And that's
hundred
what makes it so. Unless you're in Japan walking to a mall for about 35 minutes to fight at night.
that you
But
thought was just that was right around the corner. But then you just keep walking and walking and walking and just gotta trust the
um,
process because you think you're already more than halfway there, but you
and
actually weren't.
then you make it to a grocery store. You're like, I thought this was a mall. But
Yeah.
that's the thing about these cons is it's as much fun it is to see these actors and actresses and the amount of things you can buy and the experiences you get at these cons. Like Rebel Scum is so packed with guests. They're packed with
Mhm.
vendors and they're packed with influencers that we know who's going. Literally, it's a week in a summer camp with your friends. I cannot wait to do it.
I've never thought about it that way. Like, but that's exactly how Japan felt for me. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, granted, we were in a different place. Like, I mean, this is gonna be Texas, but like, you're surrounded by all these people that you've like developed such close, like, I guess, close relationships with online, but haven't actually met them in person. And then you finally get to run into them in person, and it's like you never skip a beat. And I think that's what I
And
look forward to the most at conventions now. Like, granted, yes, there's cool actors, you can get some cool autographs and experiences, and you can buy some really cool things from the awesome vendors, but like, for me nowadays, nothing beats getting to meet the other creators that you collaborate with, that you comment on your stuff, like you're always up to date with them, and then you finally get to see them in person, and it's like the best thing ever. And you all just get to hang out together, get drinks and dinner. Like it's so much fun. It's like adult summer camp. I like that.
It's literally the best part about it is, yes, you can go to these cons and meet the actors and they sign your stuff and you have it and you can display it in your house and you can keep it. It's so
Mhm.
cool. But as cool as that, nothing beats the memories that you're gonna have for those 3 days. Nothing beats it.
Nope.
Especially if someone was like had a little too much to drink the night before, and then the next morning you kind of just give them the wink, like you good? You're like, yeah, yeah, I'm good, good. It's the memories that you make, whether it's during the con, before the con, after the con. You've built memories with these group of people, and it's just like that was so much fun. Like we came for a con, but in reality, did we come for the con or did we come here for each other?
Each other.
That's the hard part. That's the hard part. I was like, oh, it's like, hey guys, we're gonna go eat. Okay, I have a signature I have to do real quick. Okay, I'll meet you right after. Okay, cool. And it's a small con. Like Celebration was so hard to find people, except I
Yeah.
found you like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, yeah. Some people it was really hard to find. Like there are some people that were there that like I met afterwards and stuff, like when we were at like the hotel lobby, blah blah blah. But like at the con, I never saw these people. Some people I did see. Like I think I saw you and I ran into Gianni a few times and I found Tony miraculously, but like he was in a line, so I saw him like over there. But a lot of these people, like I knew they were at the con and I never ran into them until like after the fact in the hotel lobby, like when we were like, yeah, we're gonna go meet for drinks or whatever. And then I was able to see them. But at the con, no. I think Rebel Scum Con, because it's really only the second year, even though it's gonna be I think bigger than last year, I still think it's gonna be smaller than like let's say MegaCon or Celebration. So I think it's gonna still have that like homey feel that we'll be able to just be like, oh, there's Chris, or oh, there's Tony, there's Ricky, and like be able to find people a little bit easier. But I think it's so cool that we're all going to be there.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a lot of Star Wars love there in general. Like I love the guys who run it. Like I always see like a Bobby has a background where he shoots all this stuff. Like I see all the figures he has. Kentucky has all those helmets in the background. Like they love Star Wars, so they're gonna do whatever they can to make your experience so much better. Whether it's going to be the hotel, the accommodations, um, if there's a restaurant like located in the hotel, um, they try to make everything so convenient for you because they understand what it is that you're looking for and then what you want to experience. So when you have these group of guys who put this together because they love it, you're probably gonna love it too because you have the exact same mindset. That's the best part.
100%.
Telling
Yeah,
you,
they
it's
and I
summer
see
camp.
all the streams they do and stuff, and I'm like, these guys love Star Wars as much as we do, and I think it's cool that they came together and like put this on. Like, I don't know that I could ever like pick a few people and be like, guys, let's make our own convention. Like, I don't know that I could ever do that. So tons of props to them,
Oh,
but I think it
100%.
makes it even cooler that like they know what people are looking for, especially Star Wars fans when we go to these cons, and essentially having a con that's only Star Wars is going to be insane. Like I think it's going to have a feel of Star Wars Celebration on a smaller scale, but I think I'm going to like that cuz Celebration at times is definitely a bit overwhelming and like waiting hours upon hours and spending most of your time in line just waiting for something, even if it was just a booth. Like to get into the Hot Toys booth, that was insane.
Did you
Like
make it in?
I did not. I
Then
was
I didn't
like
even try.
I saw one line and I was like, "Oh, I think that's doable." And then I turned around and there was a whole other line. And then I kept
There's
walking and there was another line. And I was
there's a
like,
line,
oh my
there's a
God.
line to get into line to get in line, which then
Oh
gets
my
to the
God.
final line. And I was just like, you know
Yes.
what? I want to check it out so bad. I want to see it. I think it'd be really cool content, but you're gonna sacrifice that and having a good time. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy my time here. And that's it. And you
Yeah.
have no idea what you're gonna find. And I ended up finding some really cool cosplayers. I ended up running into cosplayers who I follow. We follow each other, and we finally got a chance to meet. There's one local guy here in town, here in Vegas. He makes the most badass Boba Fett
Really?
cosplay, and then he made the most badass Bo Katan for his wife.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's amazing. If you look at it, you would have thought they jumped out of the screen. And then his cousin, who lives here too, makes one of the best Mando armors that you can buy. And so it's like I finally got to meet the one who did Boba Fett. His name is Wasted Fett. Shout out to him. Um, but like I finally got to meet him. It's just yeah, I didn't get in that line, but I got to see and experience some really cool stuff instead of being in line. And I think
I
at
mean,
Rebel StemCon, we're gonna see a lot of cool stuff.
oh, 100%. I have no doubts. I think it's going to be a good time. I mean, I got to like look around the Hot Toys booth and like look at all the different like Hot Toys figures and stuff and like that was cool, but I mean, essentially by the time I would have gotten in anyways, a lot of the stuff was already sold out. So I was like, I don't know that I can justify waiting in the line just to get in there and not really even get to see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, what I really wanted was the Anakin, and it was sold out that first day. And I was like,
Oh,
I don't,
immediately.
I don't even have to go in there anymore. And they're like, well, they still have Grogu's, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I
but
have a,
then
I have a,
that's
I was like, I have a life size Grogu right here. I have the original one. I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm fine with it. I'll
yeah.
just check out what they have outside, what to expect in the next year or so, and I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool, but yeah, I couldn't some of the lines I just couldn't justify getting in and I was like there's so much other stuff I can do and see and experience like I think I think the first day, like, I didn't even really get to walk the floor. Like, it wasn't really until the second day that I finally, like, only had time to do it because my Anakin auto got canceled. Like, my Hayden auto was
Right.
canceled, and then I was like, okay, now I can go walk the floor. But aside from that, like, the first and third day, I didn't really get to walk the floor that much. Like, it was only because something got canceled that I could do it. So that's something I wish I would have done a little bit more was walk and experience the floor more, but I paid for certain autos and spent time trying to get in line for the panels, like to get the reservations. I was like, I got to do these. So,
It could have been worse. You could have been in line for 5 hours at the show store, which
yeah, well,
which was crazy. You and I went the exact same day. I think we only missed each other by 20 or 30 minutes.
yeah, well, that was kind of upsetting too because initially my reservation was for Friday at like 4:30. The store had closed at like 1:30. So I was like,
Which is
shit, like
wild to me. I've
I
never
can't
seen that.
even I spent time getting the Lightspeed lane reservation and I couldn't even go. So then that Saturday I was like, you know what? I didn't have a panel reserve like for that morning. I think it was like there was some panel that morning, but I ended up opting for the Ahsoka. It was Andor. I opted out of seeing Andor because I really wanted to see Ahsoka. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in the morning and hope that they let me use my Lightspeed lane reservation. And even then, by the time I got there, like it was before it even opened, I was in line. I get in there, and most of it was already sold out still. And I was like,
Did you get
damn.
anything?
I did get some stuff. I got some pins and what else did I get? Some challenge coins.
Did you get
I
a
got
patch?
I got a few. I did not get a patch.
You
I'm
want
not a
one?
big patch person.
No, I have one here that I don't think I'm gonna open.
I mean, if you're offering, I won't
I'll
say no, but I'm
I'll
not like
bring it.
I mean,
I'll bring it
I
to over
saw
some.
people had some cool like patch jackets and stuff, and I'm like,
That's the
just not
cool thing. Yeah.
and
See.
I'm like, I don't know that I would ever wear that though, you know? But I
Yeah, I
do
ended
like a
up
good
running
patch.
towards
Like
it.
I think I can probably sew it on my backpack or something, but like I don't know that I would ever like get a jacket and like put all my
Yeah, but
patches.
if you sew it on your backpack, that's low key a flex because it's
Oh,
like,
it is
yeah, I
100%.
was there. You know what I mean?
I did
Like,
that.
yeah, I see this, and I say, no, you weren't there. I have video. Okay, like I
Yeah,
was there.
on my YouTube. But anyways, you did send me a picture of your collection, and I know you had a cool little saber that you wanted to show. So
I
we'll
do, I do. So I
pull
mean,
that up.
that's just part of it. There's a couple more on this side of my room that's not done yet. So I'm like, I'll just wait on when I'll show that off. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much the majority of everything. I think excluding what's over there, that's about 32 different lightsabers.
Jeez. All from different companies, right?
Yeah, all these are higher end that I've collected. Obviously, there's like the ones from different companies. So a lot of these are more expensive. It's the materials and metals that they use. A lot of these come empty, and so I am so fortunate. I have a friend out in Scotland. His name's Ryan. He taught me how to install my own lightsabers.
Wow.
So I have like 3D printed like chassis that go inside of them, and either I buy them or I print them out myself and I install my own. Saves me hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But the one I'll show you today, there's no way I can ever install something like this.
Yeah. I mean, you do have some pretty big ones, and it looks like the majority of them are like replicas.
Yeah, yeah, all of them, pretty much all of them. That top row from left to right is going to be Second Sister's Inquisitor lightsaber from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay.
Just to the right of that is Reva's. To the right of that is Marok and Shin. I figured I put them together. And then to the far right, kind of hard to see, that's the Grand Inquisitor. I just got that one recently. That's the Grand Inquisitors from the Obi-Wan series.
Nice.
And then I try to split them up. Like, there's one that has Obi-Wan's from the Obi-Wan show, Vader's, Luke's next to that one. Ahsoka's are right next to each other, which then has Sabine next to it. You can't see the one's blocking, but that one next to it is actually Balin's. Then you got Grand Admiral Thrawn and Vader right there. That's my favorite hot toy of Vader because that's the one with the cracked mask from
Nice.
Obi-Wan. Of course, Rex right under it. And
Mhm.
then the other one, that's actually the majority of all the lightsabers you'll see in Attack of the Clones. Some
Interesting.
some that people don't even realize are there. Like there's Dooku's, Anakin's, Obi-Wan, as well as the two lightsabers Obi-Wan and Anakin were given in Geonosis when they were freed from being captured. So those
Mhm.
are there. Of course, I got my Boba Fett hot toy with Mando. The one next to that, Phantom Menace, so all the ones from Phantom Menace. So Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Mauls. Under that is Revenge of the Sith. And then Dooku's from the animated one, the recent one,
Oh, Tales?
Tales of the Jedi. Yep. And then the one after that is just the video game ones. So Cal Kestis, Seer. One I just finished installing is, did you play Jedi Survivor?
I did.
Remember Dagon? Dagon, the
Yeah.
one that's his, just to the right with the gold. And that's the same one that Bode ends up taking and he fights
Uh,
Cal with. So I figured that voice actor who played Bode
mhm.
is going to be at Rebel ScumCon.
He sure is.
So I'm bringing that lightsaber with me
Nice.
for him. And I was like, not for him to have. I'm like, I want you to hold it,
Like, sign it, you know?
you know, and then and Star Killers, and the rest are just hot toys. And
Okay.
then
So you kind of
a lot of stuff. The non Star Wars one is at one in the corner, which is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
mhm.
which is signed by every single Power Ranger from that movie.
Wow.
So like I got
That's
the white,
impressive.
yeah, which is sad because the White Ranger had passed damn near exactly 1 year after he signed that poster.
That's crazy.
And then I got everybody else's.
So you kind of display the sabers by like movie, show. That's kind of how you go. You don't do
Yeah.
a random display of
Yeah, I
just.
try to do it specifically, but then I realize I'm running out of shelves. I try to keep like the Ahsoka stuff together, but then it's tough too because I have Riva and Grand Inquisitor separated from each other and that technically should be in the same show. So it's tough. It's when you try to maneuver things around. That's why I'm redoing a lot of my stuff. Like I have helmets on that side. I have a C3PO head with Anthony Daniels signature. I have my Chimera helmet and lightsaber with the signature from Manny Jacinto. I have stuff over here, so it's still trying to figure that out. I even have a James Earl Jones signature on my wall.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that would cost me too much.
Well,
But I picked it up. I was like, I need this.
yeah. But I think the hard thing with those bigger ones, especially the Inquisitor sabers, is that they do take up so much space.
Oh yeah, you could see just they don't. They're so big they won't sit straight. I had to angle them for them to fit because they're so big.
Yeah. So I feel like those
Yeah,
would be hard to kind of pair up in the same
100%. It's like,
box
oh
kind of
yeah,
thing.
because if you try to put them together and that takes away from the other one, then you can't see it.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to separate them, which is unfortunate.
So is there a saber, I guess, that you don't have that you do want to add to your collection?
Yes, actually. So Vader, it's a Vader saber actually. Um, he has three different ones. Technically four. I only have one. I need the other ones. I need to add a, but then I think about it. I'm like, if I do that, I'm now have to either A, have a shelf dedicated to just a Vader saber, or still keep it in the same where it's like keeping it with movies. Because it's all part of different movies. So technically one of his would go into the Revenge of the Sith shelf too. Because he has one there, it's different. So it's like, oh, for me, because I've separated him the way I have, I'm like, damn, how am I gonna display that? Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess you'd have to do some moving around, unfortunately. But that's the
Oh yeah,
fun
I'm
thing
ready.
about collecting is you
Already planning it.
Gotcha.
once I
Okay.
get that done. Yeah.
And what was the special saber that you had kind of, put aside?
Oh, okay. So let me move it. It's in that special case.
Mhm.
It is Obi-Wan Kenobi's with Ewan's signature in front of it that sits like this.
Wow.
I have fingerprints all over. I got to move it. But I also have one with Hayden as well. So it's
Oh,
just like this. But the only reason why this one's so special, and this never comes out of here, so this is the only time I'm taking it out. So
wow. Very
this
special.
is this is his, obviously, from episode 3.
Mhm.
Now, what makes it special? So everything like chassis wise is either 3D printed, right? This is also 3D printed, but what makes it special? I don't want to break anything or dent it. Is the chassis made out of brass?
Wow.
It's all brass, has LEDs, even has a door. If I can get it, because there's magnets in there. Get out of there. There we go. That swings open like that. So then you'll have. Oh, it closed.
So you could see the kyber crystal inside?
Yeah. So you'll be able to see it on the inside. It's clear, but
Does it spin?
it does, except it. I turned that feature off.
Gotcha.
But let me change it. I know StreamYard takes away a lot of the sound. That's what it looks like turned on. Well, not fully turned on. You could see that.
That is so cool.
Now, because StreamYard does take away sound, I guess I could. Oh, now it's it. Not that one. I put a bunch on there. Maybe it's this one. Oh yeah, it does. It's acting all crazy. That's the reason why I turned it off. But you could see it spinning.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
But that is the Obi-Wan that cost me way too much money.
I mean, it's got a high-tech chassis, so I get it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, so you can see all those LEDs run together, all through here, and then because the kyber crystal is clear, now it's blue because of the LEDs inside. By the way,
That's so cool. Does it change color though? So if you like
it
made it
can.
red or whatever, the
Yeah, so
kyber would be
it
red?
can. I decided to just do Obi-Wan fonts on this one,
Mhm.
and I just kept it blue. Except there is one that is white.
Oh,
So you see, this one's white.
wow.
If I spin it all the way around, you get all the white LEDs.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So because it's Profi, I don't have to press the button. I just twist it and turns on.
That's insane.
But yeah, that is the Obi-Wan that lights up. Yeah, this is my favorite one. Until I do one just like this, but Darth Vader, then it changes the game. Which one of these do exist as Darth Vader?
Really?
Yeah, but it's probably double
The
the price of
price.
this. Yeah. So I'll
So is
wait on that.
the Anakin one that you have similar to that?
It doesn't have that same chassis in it,
Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
it's displayed the same with the same case with Hayden's signature.
Nice. Well, that's
And
still pretty cool.
I got all done in London. I was just like, oh, okay. Which was for anyone who goes to celebration or goes like traveling and you're getting autographs, or if do you do the metal plaques too?
I do. I do now.
The stress of getting on a flight and making sure it's so stressful. I bring it with me in my personal bag
Yeah.
so it doesn't bend because they're metal, right? They're gonna
Mhm.
bend. I'm like, nope, we're not doing that. It's the stress of traveling. I felt I was more stressed in Japan than I was in London
Really?
because I packed a lot of stuff coming back.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, the reason I really only got into the metal plaques though is because initially I was having like my pop signed, and then when I realized like, hey, I'm gonna be going to Japan, like that's going to be impossible like to bring a pop. I mean, yes, they do make the hard stacks and stuff like that, but like they can crack and kind of lose their figure almost. And I was like, I don't know, like I think that's going to be really risky. So that's kind of why I started switching over to doing the plaques. One, they're smaller, they're easier to transport. You don't have to, I mean, you do have to worry about them like bending and kind of getting a little distorted, but not nearly as much I feel like as with the pops. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to switch over to the plaques. I can move them around. I can use them to display with different things. Like, and they're so nice. And the guy that makes them, like, really allows you to customize them. And it, like, he just does some phenomenal work.
I think we use the same person.
Yeah. AM
MC.
custom
Yeah,
plaques.
yeah, yeah.
Ariel.
Yeah, Ariel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ariel also sells stands for him. You know that too, right?
Hmm.
So what I did is I bought the stands and I put the plaques on the stand because now it's metal and acrylic on there, so it won't bend. I mean, it will bend if you really try. It'll snap, but at least there's a little bit more resistance on there. So that
Yeah.
helped me a lot. Like this one, I had this one. This one's Ray Parks. He signed that one too.
Nice.
So I have his. But it's like when you switch the plaques, there's like a museum quality to it. It kind of
Oh,
like
100%.
elevates it. Like I have some pops, and there's two of them that's not Star Wars related that I have to get signed. But besides that, everything else can be plaques.
Yeah, the that's what I started with initially was the pops, and then I was like, these are hard to kind of just transport and like it's just a lot. The plaques I feel like there's not as much to it. Like, you can get them signed, you wait a little bit, slide them into the thing, put it in your backpack and call it a day. The pops you gotta like kind of walk around with it, wait for it to dry, then like slowly put it in the thing, and then like the hard stacks take up space and they're heavy, and I was like, this is getting a little too much.
And
So
that's the best part about Rebel Scum is the hotel is located where the con is. So
yes.
once you get something done, walk it back up to your room, drop it off. If you need to use the restroom, you have your own personal restroom.
Hmm.
Unless you're in Japan, you're waiting 25 minutes to go up the elevator. You know,
Yeah. Yeah,
you know
that was
that was
something.
not that was not it for me. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, yeah, Rebel Scum. That's the best part is it's going to be located where the con is. If you buy something, if you get a photo op and you have the photos there, take it right back up to your room.
Yep. Yeah. That's the plan.
I mean, you
That's
still have to transport it, but I mean, it
yeah,
takes away a lot of the stress.
100%. But that was pretty much the majority of your collection, at least from what you sent me. So my final two questions, the second to last, is going to be: what is your favorite piece in your collection?
Oh, can I pick two?
Sure.
Okay, my James Earl Jones signature for sure, and then I do have. So the Black Series lightsabers, right? So prior to that, years ago, there was the Master replica who did the same technology type, for them, and that was dated back like I think '04 when they first started making them. I bought one in 2007. I used to work at Hollister, so much fun of a job, but the pay was the worst pay you can think of. Max hours you can get was 5 a day. You can get over there. Plus taxes and taking that. Yeah, plus taxes, you weren't making much. The very first thing I bought with my paycheck, like I saved up, was one of those lightsabers from one of those stores, Sharper Image, back when they were around. Bought one of them, kept that lightsaber for years, and then it broke. And I found somebody in like 2019 who put like a whole new soundboard in there, very like similar to what's around now, but in 2019, some of the stuff wasn't a thing yet. It was still a brand new thing. So to this day, which is this Luke right there, is the exact same lightsaber I owned in 2007, but now it works.
Wow.
And so I've kept it. That would probably be the only Star Wars thing I have from back when I was in high school. And I still have it.
That's crazy. That's pretty awesome though.
Yeah, some people are like, how much do you want for it? I'm like, no.
No, that's one I'm
No.
not ever gonna sell. Sorry.
That's the one that I could never get rid of because that's my favorite one here.
No, I totally get it.
And even
But
in the bottom, it's stamped. It says Lucas Arts 2007. Like it still has all that. And so I was like, no,
wow.
you can't take that from me.
I mean, I'm sure it would go for a pretty penny, but sometimes the stuff that you have, it's not ever worth the amount that
Yeah.
you could sell it for.
Yeah, it's probably like worth 200-300 bucks, but to me, it'd be 3 or 4 times that. And even if someone's like, okay, I'll buy it, I'm like, no, even then I still can't do
Can't
it.
do it.
It's still
Yeah.
my favorite one. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool though. I mean, it's like an OG. I mean, 2007, I feel like it's very hard because a lot of the collectors and stuff, like we don't have the stuff that we had when we were younger, and even though we're like, dang it, why did we get rid of it, or why did we do this, and then we try to like reclaim it when we get older. But very few collectors I've noticed have stuff that they actually had when they were younger, like the original toys that they used to play with, things like that. Sometimes people are like, yeah, I've been able to like go back and repurchase it, but very few times people have the original
Which I
stuff.
did. I did do that last year. I was with Ricky at another con, and I told him, I was like, if I find that ship, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. And then I didn't see it the whole con up until the final day. I found it, grabbed it. Ricky almost bought it. Ricky was like, if you weren't gonna buy it, I was gonna buy it. And I was like, nope, snatched it, and now it's on my shelf up there. But like you said, when it comes to something that you've had for that long, I can't. I couldn't get rid of it. There's no way.
Yeah, it makes it harder. I mean, it has sentimental value to it, and there's no amount of money that can really kind of attribute to that sometimes. But
100%.
yeah. And my last question is, because this is a collecting podcast, if you could give one piece of advice to other collectors out there, what would it be?
Oh, pay your rent first before you buy it. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
Okay, here's one. If you're gonna buy something, buy it because you really want it, not because you want to make your collection bigger. I could say I bought a bunch of hot toys, and then I was just like, I don't really have a connection to it, so I ended up selling it. A lot of things that I have, just like I have a connection to it, and I really wanted it to add to my collection. Don't buy something just to make your collection bigger. Make it because, or get it because it's something you really want and that you can't see yourself selling. If you buy something and you see you're like, yeah, I could sell it, don't buy it. One, you'll lose money, and two, there was no point in buying it because now the money you could have used for that, you could buy for something you actually really want.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty valid. I think a lot of people don't think about it that way, so I get it.
But yeah, seriously, don't buy anything until you pay your rent.
No, that's a big piece of advice because I think people don't think about that sometimes. They're like, I'm just gonna get it, and then you kind of get into some financial standstills, and it gets a little hard. Collecting is not cheap, especially when you get into some of the higher end pieces. But listen, pay your rent first, and then buy some stuff.
Especially if you think to yourself like, "Oh, I could buy this now, and I do get paid next week." No, don't buy it. Just wait. Just wait.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, good pieces of advice, but that was pretty much all that I had. Is there anything else you wanted to throw in, or we can kind of just have you tell people what you got going on next? Anything that you want people to be on the lookout for, and where they can find you one more time?
Well, yes, I am on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I do have a bunch of lightsabers I still have to do. I started reviewing stuff in my personal collection just because I got so busy with doing sabers that were sent to me. And obviously, I love doing those because it helps other people who are new to sabers to try to understand things and understand the process of buying it and what you get with your stuff. But then I feel like I needed to add a little bit of me in there and show you stuff in my personal collection to why I bought it, why it's so important to me. And catch me at Rebel Scum come August with the rest of us. We are at 1 hour and 18 minutes into this podcast. And if you're still here, go check out Jedi Lex on YouTube right now. Watch her vlogs, watch her Japan vlogs. I still watch them because when I see the stuff that she did in Kyoto, and I was just like, oh, I'm so jealous. And yeah, watch them all. I still do, and I enjoy them all.
Oh, I appreciate that, but thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad that we finally were able to kind of knock down a time and a date to do this. It's been so good. I think you've become one of my favorite people since going to Japan. Like, I think we just have this bond now, and I'm excited to see you again at Rebel Scum Con. So, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it.
To think it all started with laundry. Okay.
Dude, yeah, I mean, friendships are built on laundry or undried laundry per se.
Oh, geez, I'll never forget that. That was the
Yeah,
highlight.
that was something, but
Yeah.
you know,
But thank you. Thank you for having me on. I know we tried planning it last year too, and I was like, I don't know, something happened on my end where I missed it. I was like, I completely didn't even see it. But I'm so glad we did it now, just because it did add our experience in Japan together, and I think it was more of a blessing in disguise.
100%. I do think that as well. But again, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to put all your information down in the description. So please go check out his channel. We got to get him to 2K. He is right there. So please go follow him if you aren't already. And again, thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you, and I'll be back. I'm kidding.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Once you get that other side kind of tweaked up and nice, we'll bring you back on for
Oh,
sure.
we'll do a mobile one. I'll bring out my phone. We'll do a whole thing, and I'll wait to do a whole room tour until I do it with you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's everything. And I will see everybody in the next episode. Bye, guys.